Guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is all about advice when seeking medical coding community. If you're brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue, I'm a medical coder. Okay guys, so a lot of times brand new medical coding students will want to seek community. They want to have fellowship with other medical coders, and so they go to places like Facebook, those Facebook medical coding groups that I have always said on my channel, do not get into, but people still go into them anyway. But I say don't get into them because a lot of times there's a lot of tomfoolery that goes on in those Facebook groups, and somebody's always going to comment, oh no, my Facebook medical coding group is great. Well, that may be great for you, but the majority of them are not this way, okay? There's a lot of things that go on there. There's a lot of negativity, and so that's why I tell people to keep your circle very small. Don't go into these Facebook groups because, again, there could be so much discouragement that happens along with some encouragement, but for the most part it's a lot of discouragement that happens in those groups. That's why I really don't recommend them. I do have a Facebook page for my channel for Medical Coding with Blue. There's not a whole lot of action that goes on there because I post things only occasionally from time to time. This was meant for you all to have a place for like community as well. There's not a whole lot of posts there, so I mean, what are you gonna do? But I did it because you all asked me to. So this person made a comment, and this really kind of speaks to what I'm talking about today, and how you respond to the community of medical coding. And you have to remember that this community is made up of all kinds of people. It's made up of nerds. It's made up of people who are here to chase the money. It's, you know, here for people who are kind of lost and trying to find their way. So the community is big, and it brings in a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds, some with no medical background, some with lots of medical background. So you're going to get different types of personalities, different types of situations, okay? So let me read this email or this comment, and then I'll get into it. So here we go. So the viewer says, so I have a question about joining your local chapter. My school is going through AAPC, and I will have to attend as a visitor until membership. I contacted the local chapter and have received no response about meetings. They are email contact only. I have joined their Facebook group. I know how you feel about Facebook groups, LOL in big letters, right? I stay connected, and I got an ick feeling. They are planning to view a surgical procedure at their local hospital. One of the members asked if this was for CEUs or for funsies. The response from the admin was, this is for funsies. I am pretty open-minded, and I have seen a lot in my lifetime. I just found their discussion and replies to be kind of ghoulish and unprofessional, like almost childish giddiness. If this is being conducted for an educational purpose, that's totally fine. What threw me off was the way it was discussed. Just really left a bad taste. I'm thinking of leaving the Facebook group and just visiting the local chapter meetings. Am I wrong, or am I overreacting in this situation? Is there any benefit to staying in a Facebook group? Thank you for your awesome content. And I said, this was my response. I'm going to go ahead and read it to you guys because I think it's important that you hear what I have to say on this one. So I said, that may be a slight overreaction only because there's no inflection in the text response of the Facebook people, Facebook group people. You technically can't be upset not fully knowing the full context of the conversation. Additionally, this is an educational excursion that they are talking about and not a party. So sometimes people will get more excited when they're going to learn something. If you've ever watched any of my videos, you know that when I'm talking about learning something, I get very excited. When I talk about books, I get very excited. And that's just here on the channel. That's not y'all haven't seen me in real life to see when I'm talking about surgeries and things like that, where I get really excited. And so there is an excitement to it. And you can't judge me for it because it's something that I really love to do. And for somebody to get upset because people are excited about seeing a surgery, which some people have never seen surgery. Some people have never even had a surgery on themselves before. So they don't know. So the idea of somebody calling and getting this educational connection where, people can go in and watch a procedure as it's happening, that's a wonderful leader, and that is really exciting. And for this person to be so wrapped up in just, the way that the people were acting was so childish and ghoulish. Really? I'm just saying. So I said, and then I said, people do this to me all the time. Take something that I talk about in a video personally, and all along it had nothing to do with them, and they completely misunderstand me. Let's see. I already said how I feel about Facebook groups, so I won't repeat it. You still chose to join anyway. Then you comment on my video asking me about it with an LOL. However, I will say that if you're upset by what someone said in a Facebook post, consider the reason, and know that there will be many, many reasons that you will be upset by something someone said in the workplace, valid or invalid reasoning at that. The question is, are you going to let it affect you personally? The question is, are you going to let it affect you when it has nothing to do with you personally? Or are you going to let it affect you and run you off from a Facebook group? You may be getting other sorts of community from this group. It's up to you. Just don't waste your time being upset about others and what they have to say when it has nothing to do with you. So this person is judging other people for being excited about being allowed to watch a surgical procedure. I don't think that this can be stated enough. When we are medical coders, we have to know what doctors know while never having gone to medical school. So the opportunity to be able to witness and view an actual procedure happening is a really great thing, and is a great educational thing. And I'm glad that there was people excited about it. I am the type of person that would want to know this type of stuff. And if I got the opportunity to be able to do that, I would jump right on board. So that's not a reason to want to leave a Facebook group. If there was a lot of negativity, like if they were complaining that they couldn't pass and they couldn't find a job, then I could understand, which again is why I tell you all to stay out of Facebook groups. But again, if you're not going to listen, I can't help you. Don't ask me what is my advice when I've already given my advice and it's just, you still did it anyway, because that's the reason for it. If you do something and you find out that it's not, what you wanted or what you thought because, of whatever you encountered, that was a experience that I was trying to help you to avoid, that you still went and did, right? So the long and short of it is, if you're going to seek community in medical coding, you want to find like-minded people like you. And if that means going to these in-person group meetings, right, for like AAPC, their local chapter, I know they do that a lot, monthly, right? If you go there and you meet people and you shake hands and you get to know the people that are in the health information industry, that's a great thing, because meeting people face to face is a lot better than, meeting through a Facebook group. Again, there is no inflection in messaging, right? And that's where a lot of breakdown in communication comes from. And I think it's not just this generation of people that's coming up, right? Young people that's coming up that have this problem of, we only communicate in emojis and just little short text messages and little short bits of information. They don't have that whole, where we have a beginning, a middle, and an end of a conversation, and we actually speak to each other, and it's not just through text messaging, because people get braver when they're behind a computer screen rather than saying things in person. And so that's the thing. And then people will misinterpret things all the time. So again, if you are only seeking community by way of going on a Facebook group, you're setting yourself up to fail. There's a lot of different opportunities to meet in person. There's also attending conferences. AAPC has their conference, and they have several throughout the year and in a lot of the major cities. So you can go to your local AAPC chapter, not AAPC chapter, your conference that's near you, okay? You can check that out And you have to spend, a few $100s, yes, to go to these things, but you get continuing education units, and again, you get to meet people, and they're like you in the same boat. So that's a great place to network and things like that. You can also attend a HEMA conference as well. A HEMA, they do have CEUs there for their conference, and they have their national conference coming up. It's going to be in Baltimore, Maryland this year in October. And so, that's another great place to just be able to meet people and have community. But don't set your heart so much on, I have to find other coders to talk to. Because while it is helpful, it can be harmful too, especially if you are overly sensitive about what people say. And sometimes people don't always say things the way that they want to express them when they're writing, because you have to remember too that a lot of people don't like to write. Writing is a beautiful art that has really gotten lost, especially on this generation, because there's a lot of people again that are communicating by emojis and just a few words, and if literature and all this other stuff was not pushed in in the schools, that's a part of the problem too, because people lose those beautiful words of just being able to express themselves. Beautiful ways of expressing themselves through words is what I mean to say. Right? So that's the thing you have to think about. And you can't always take everything so offensively. People jump to conclusions lots of times. We see this all the time on Twitter. I am not on Twitter. I think I may have started a page for Medical Coding with Blue, but I haven't checked in on it in years, So, because again, when it comes to social media, I try to limit, even though I am on YouTube, I try to limit all the other places to be, because it's just so much. And then again, you get people in a community, somebody may have had a bad day, and then all of a sudden they're spouting off all this stuff on the internet, and then somebody sees it, again, who is sensitive and doesn't know to not take it so personally. I'm so offended by what this person said, or I'm offended by the way that they acted. I'm offended because I believe that they're unprofessional. You don't know that person. You don't know what it's like to work with them. And for you to say, this person's unprofessional, that person's unprofessional. Again, you're in a professional arena, and if you're saying that somebody is unprofessional, you need to back up with a reason why, right? And you can't just say it was because of what they said. Unless they said something really egregious. But you can't say that about people, because, it's a small community, and word does get around. I mean, people are going to make their opinions of everybody, and everybody's going to have something to say about what you have to say, and that kind of thing. But again, it's about finding good community and people who are going to encourage you, people who are going to help you get educated and understand why things are the way they are. And also, you have to be willing, you as the individual have to be willing to accept other points of view that differ from your own, right? That differ from your own. If you are only seeking out people who agree with just what you said, like this person, saying, this is just terrible and it's awful and what they said and that kind of thing. And if they went to another person, that person said, yeah, that's terrible and awful too, and I think they're unprofessional. Okay, now we agree with each other. And if another person says, no, I disagree. I think that, that was a really, they're excited about it. I think they want to see this procedure because they want to learn more. Oh my gosh, that person's so terrible. That person's so unprofessional. Why? Because they saw it from a different point of view than your own. And it's only going to get even more complex when you get into the workplace. So get used to it. Again, there's going to be things that, people are going to say that are going to upset you. I know on my channel that I upset a lot of people, and especially about little things. And sometimes it's just the smallest thing, and people get so upset with me. Like about tabbing the books. I tell y'all, don't tab the books. You don't need to. You don't need to write in the books. You know how many angry, upset letters I get because I said that? And why do I say that? Because I'm encouraging y'all in the same breath to get more confident with these books by using the books, and not by, depending on crutches that don't really help you in the end to understand and comprehend. I want y'all to comprehend what you're reading and understand it. And how do you do that? By looking at what the information is there in the book, versus trying to write all of these things. You're not a doctor, right? You don't need to add something when the book already has everything. And that's my simple point, you know? So again, be willing to accept other people's opinions. Be willing to look at other people's points of view, right? And take it from their side. Okay, well, if we don't agree, it's okay. I can still be a member of this group, even though I don't agree with what this person says. But again, if it's something that's really egregious and it's just, you know, too much and it's too drama, then by all means, get out of those Facebook groups. I could tell you all day till I'm blue in the face that, you know, y'all should be out of those Facebook medical coding groups, because it really, again, it's what kind of community is it if it's so negative, right? Or if they're trying to discourage you from something because they couldn't pass the test, or they couldn't do this, or they couldn't do that. You know, so again, it all goes back to how you handle things. You know, that's a big part of professional development. And again, it's a part of that really good communication, because I guarantee you, somebody getting upset about something like this, they've said things a time or two that was upsetting to somebody else. And then maybe they didn't mean to upset the other people, but they did. And now this other person, what are they going to do? Cut them off and say, oh no, I'm never going to speak to you again because we don't agree on the same thing? Guys, really? Then who's the unprofessional one? I'm just saying. So, you know, think about what you're doing, what you're saying. If you enjoy being in Facebook medical coding group, but somebody said some bonehead comment, let it go. Let it go. What is it? Who is it? Elsa that says it on Frozen. Let it go. I never saw the movie, but I know that the little cartoon character sang it, you know. But that's the thing. You know, let it go. You have other things to worry about other than what somebody said in a Facebook group. Okay? You have your studies to do. And if you happen to be in this Facebook group, you can be a propeller for change too. You can say, hey, I'm looking to start a study group. Does anybody want to be in the study group with me? You know, maybe you might have a few bites, and that's how you find people who are like-minded like you, where you can have, like, you know, form a little group to make a study group. And then maybe you might have one person who has a lot of background in medical, but not really familiar with coding, but they can explain other things. And then another person who can be like, well, I'm a really studious person and this is how I study, and I'm going to share my thoughts and opinions on how to study and how to do this and my techniques. Okay, and this other person has a way of talking and communicating, that they're the ones who brought the people together. So that's the thing, guys. Again, it's about balance, and it's about, you know, being willing to look past the things that are not important, like some people getting excited about being able to have the opportunity to see a procedure. Okay, look past things like that, because that's just, at the end of the day, it's kind of ridiculous, and there's other things to be concerned with. And especially if you're trying to build and seek a community, then you need to be more vocal instead of being like the armchair quarterback and just looking and seeing how you would have done this and how you would have said this. And don't worry about all that. You worry about yourself. You worry about, you know, getting yourself through school. You worry about educating yourself, so that when you do get out in the real world, you're going to be well prepared and you're going to be knowledgeable. Because at the end of the day, it's all about our knowledge. And as medical coders, we have to catch up, because again, we have to know what doctors know while never having gone to medical school. And if you don't like that Facebook group, at the end of the day, there are 57,000 Facebook groups out there. Trust me, you will find another community. Okay, but don't worry about all that other petty stuff, and don't put yourself in a position like that where you start to become the petty one. I'm just saying. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If this video helped you, please like, subscribe, and share. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.